All right, we are live. Let me start it on Instagram. Hey, hey, good people. All right, here we go. All right, y'all. Happy, what's today? Friday. I hope everybody is doing well. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are live with one of my favorite people in the world. In case you didn't know, this is my bestie, Leticia Bhola. She is the founder, CEO, owner of LMB Wellness. But today she's not just here because she's my bestie, y'all. She is here because May is Mental Health Awareness Month. And we wanted to take some time to chat about what all of that means. Leticia's brand, LMB Wellness, is also one of the featured brands on the sistershop.com. And she's actually wearing some of the merch today. And y'all should know it is online and on sale this month for 20% off. And we only have 7-8 days left in May. So we are really excited to have Leticia with us. So hey girl, hey.
Hey girl, how are you?
I am doing just fine, doing just fine. Well, listen, I am so excited to chat with you during Mental Health Awareness Month. We are live on all platforms. So, listen, before we go any further, I need y'all to share this. If you are watching, hit the share button. Let folks know that the Sister Shop is live. And we are going to be chatting about Mental Health Awareness Month and just all that means. And we have an expert with us today who is a licensed clinical therapist and has her own practice in the Houston, Texas area. So please hit the share button. Let folks know that the Sisters in Business are live today. So Leticia, thank you again for being with us. Please tell everyone first a little bit about LMB Wellness.
So LMB Wellness Services is an outpatient therapy office located in Missouri City, Texas, and we are focusing on helping individuals facilitate positive changes in their life through therapeutic counseling and other support services. So we not only provide therapy in office, but online as well to all those who reside in the Texas area. So not just Houston and the surrounding areas, but Dallas, Austin, Fort Worth, San Antonio, all over Texas.
All right, all right. So, you are the owner of this brand, and I've been blessed and fortunate to be able to see the journey firsthand. But let's talk a little bit about that journey of becoming an actual business owner, right? Because it's one thing to be a therapist; it's another thing to own an actual business. So, can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. So owning a business and being a therapist it has you have several hats because not only do you have to provide the actual service, but you also have to do accounting, do marketing, um, do advertising, do bookkeeping and write progress notes, do billing. So I wear several hats and at any given time I could be doing one, two, three different things. And so I just know that it's difficult sometimes to manage both jobs, the administrative piece and the therapeutic piece. But I have staff, so I have a wonderful office assistant, and I also have another therapist on staff who assists with lightening my load, so to say.
That is amazing. That is amazing. What was the thought process behind deciding to start your own practice? I know initially you were working with another group practice. How did you ultimately make that decision to go into this full fledged for yourself?
Okay, so I actually started my practice in during COVID. So of course, as we all know, during COVID, mental health crisis was on the rise, depression was on the rise. We had a lot of clients or a lot of people isolating. They couldn't go out, they couldn't do some of the things that they normally would do because of COVID and the spread of COVID. And just so I realized that there was a need that needed to be filled, I guess, and I launched my business. And I think that what I tried to do was because it was only virtual at the time, I tried to make people feel safe and find a space to help them go through those challenges and not feel like they were alone in the process, even though some of them were really alone, you know. and their homes. So I thought that all of the things that I learned in the group practice setting, in my career as a social worker with different facilities, learning the back end of billing sometimes, learning the case management pieces, trying the resources. So I felt like all of that kind of helped me to decide that during COVID, I would launch my business.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I love that. So let's shift a little bit because I want to talk a little bit about mental health, right? This is Mental Health Awareness Month. This month has been deemed that and, set aside to really focus on mental health awareness. What
Mhm.
what do you think of when you hear the term mental health? What does that mean? I know we've heard it in a lot of contexts, but what does that mean? Mental
To
health.
me, mental health. To me, mental health, it consists of taking care of not just your body and your soul, but also your minds. A lot of times we focus on doing the physical work, or we focus on, keeping ourselves active, keeping ourselves busy, but we don't focus on what our mood is or what's causing us to feel a certain way. What are our triggers, or what are some symptoms that we may be experiencing that we don't even know how to identify or label them. So I think mental health is more than just how are you feeling, but what are you doing to find out what's making you feel that way? How are you taking care of that? What skills are you using to kind of go through, I guess, whatever you're, going through in that moment? So mental health is more important to me sometimes than, or not more important, or as important as body, taking care of body and soul.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So true. And I know over the years, right, like the conversation around mental health has changed a lot, right? Like, for
Yes,
example, when we were growing up, there was no conversation about it, right?
not at all.
And now I think we are, slowly but surely beginning to hear more about it, to have a whole month dedicated to it, to see it being more acceptable in, regular everyday conversation with people who at one point probably would have never even considered it, right? Like back in the day, they called it going to see a shrink, right?
Right. Or you were
So,
going crazy,
yes,
Mhm.
yes. So, how would you describe that that transformation, or where we are now as opposed to how it used to be?
I think that just sometimes the stigma of feeling like you don't have it all together has
Mhm,
been a difficult thing to say out loud, because we want to let and portray or show people that, oh, we got this, we're doing life okay, we don't need to talk to anybody, we have our support system, we have our friends, we have our outlooks. And in reality, sometimes we don't. Sometimes we do need that third party to kind of talk to bounce things off of, to get recommendations, to just feel like, all right, this is somebody who doesn't know all of me, and I feel comfortable being transparent with them. So I
mhm,
think that, you just got to take care of it. Sometimes you don't necessarily have to be in therapy all the time, but maybe you want to go in therapy when you have a crisis, and also maintain, after crisis. So you don't feel like you're only going to therapy when you're all over the place, or you can't get it together, or you're depressed, anxious, grieving, ex-
mhm.
experience trauma. So I
Yeah.
think that there are different times in your life, of course, where you probably will go to therapy. But I also think that I'm glad that the stigma around therapy is not the way it is, because I feel like it can be a problem, or it can prohibit you from going. But I also think that there are some cultures who still kind of don't feel like therapy is going to work for them. So I just try to make it sound and appear to be something that you should do, like a checkup for your body, a
Mm.
checkup for your brain. So it should be something that you incorporate no matter what crisis you're in or not in.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. So you mentioned a couple of things like depression, grief. Are there any particular, challenges that you are seeing more of that are more prevalent, particularly amongst Black women, that seem to be on the uprise?
Yes. So I think a lot of clients come to me for anxiety, um, and for divorce, also for functional depression, right? They don't feel like they're depressed, but then after asking a series of questions, or maybe doing an assessment, or even seeing them over longer periods of time, I'm like, yeah, you are depressed. You may be functioning, but you're still depressed, And I think that those three things alone can make you feel like you are all over the place, like,
Mm.
and you can't get it together and you don't know where to start. So I think just going to see somebody is a good start. Going to see a therapist is a good start to kind of help you figure out, all right, is there something else that I need to do besides what I feel like I'm doing on my own?
Yeah, it's a lot. I feel like as I get older, I've fallen in more of the categories, right? Like I've experienced a little bit of anxiety. I've definitely gone through grief. Depression seems to kind of be looming every now and then, and I totally agree that there's like a season in your life at every point where you could probably use some therapy, right? It may not
Right.
always be the same thing, but therapy obviously sounds like it can help with just about everything.
Yes, pretty much everything. I mean, life transitions. Maybe you're becoming a mom for the first time. Maybe
Mm,
you're trying to navigate a new job or loss of a job,
you
especially
know
in this
what?
economy.
I'm glad you mentioned that because it lends to the fact that therapy is not only necessary when bad things are happening, right? Like therapy can be helpful when a good thing is happening in your life, like a new baby or a new relationship or a new job, right? And so I think that when you put that in perspective, it really broadens the horizon in terms of the fact that therapy can be helpful and useful because even a good experience can still come with the need for some assistance. Can you talk a
Yes.
little bit about that?
Sure. A lot of times people say when they're in therapy, they say they have a fear of failing or rejection. And so sometimes after doing a little bit more digging, I'm like, do you think it's a fear of failure or a fear of success? Like trying to sustain your success?
Mm,
Or is it a fear of failure? And so I think that sometimes we feel like the root may be one thing, and then after doing some question asking, assessment, we recognize it may be something else. So I think that's why it's important to not just try therapy one time. I have a lot of clients who come for one session and they feel like, okay, I'm gonna have it all together. And I'm like, no, you probably need to come a little bit more than just one or two times.
mhm,
Maybe try 3 months. I
mhm.
feel like that's a good indicator sometimes to see if there's been a change, to see if you still feel the same from the first session up until maybe 3 months later.
Right, because we know that one session at the gym ain't gonna do anything. So you need a
Exactly.
little bit more. You do a little bit more work. I
Right.
love it, and I'm just so thankful that we have had some progress as it relates to the stigma and just the openness and people embracing,
Mhm.
um, mental health therapy. What would you say? Because I know sometimes for some, the cost can be a challenge. What are some options that people have as it relates to being able to pay for therapy?
Sure. So I think that, sometimes their company will have like a HSA or a flexible spending account. And so maybe if they take money out of their check, they can put it towards that and use it for their copays or the deductibles that they may have to meet at the beginning of the year. So I think that's one way to not maybe have to take it out of your pocket throughout the year, but have it come out of your check so you don't even recognize that that is something that you're putting towards that you can use for the future. So
And I think
that's one.
our HSS pre-tax. I think.
Yes. Uh-huh. I think some companies allow you to do pre-tax or
Mm,
after tax.
okay.
So that's one thing. And then there's another resource that I feel like more people know about now than maybe at the beginning. It's a wonderful company called the Loveland Foundation, and they offer vouchers for clients to be able to go to therapy, maybe if their insurance doesn't have behavioral health coverage, or if they're in between jobs and don't have insurance.
Mm.
So I think if you go to the Loveland Foundation and I think fill out an application, they'll let if it's that time for you to get or to qualify for a voucher. And I think they give you 4 vouchers at a time. The max may be 12 vouchers altogether. So
That's amazing. That's
yeah,
amazing.
yeah.
All right.
Mhm.
So I know you're a super busy lady. I'm not going to keep you too much longer. Let's talk a little bit about this merch. Okay.
Okay.
You are wearing one of our top selling designs, God plus therapy equals healing. Tell us about the inspiration behind that design.
So actually, I think you and I were talking, and we were just brainstorming ideas, and we met in church. We
Mm,
have been lifelong friends for 30 plus years. I'm not going to say that again because I'll deny it if somebody says it
We were
to me.
babies. We were
Right.
babies, infants.
Yes, we were real, we were smaller and younger. Okay.
That part.
So we grew up in the church, and I know oftentimes in our culture, we think that if we pray something away or if we pray, bring it to the Lord, it's just going to go away. And sometimes
Mhm.
prayer without works is dead. You know what I
Yes,
mean? So
it
I
is.
think
That's the word. Faith without works is dead.
faith without works is dead. I'm sorry, I
Mhm.
misquoted that. Please forgive
That's
me.
right. You
Okay.
got it. Hmm.
So I feel like God plus therapy is a good example of getting the healing that you need because sometimes it's not a one thing fix. Sometimes it's a mixture of things that you have to use to be able to get to the other side of something. So get to healing. And I
Mm-hmm.
don't want you to feel like, oh, I don't want people to feel like it's contingent upon one thing. It could be a collaboration of things. So that's how we came up with God plus therapy equals healing. We also have another shirt called mental health for the melanated culture. And that is, of course, because hello, DEI, I feel like we have to have our own thing to be able to support our journey through mental health. And so, why
Right.
not have a shirt that says mental health, that supports and promotes mental health for the melanated culture?
Right. Because our experiences are different, our perspectives are different. Absolutely. And go ahead.
I'm going to say, and a lot of times I have clients who will say they have a preference of seeing someone who is a Black female because they have relatability. So
Absolutely.
I feel like it's important to just advertise mental health for our culture
Hmm.
because it's a need, it's a preference. We want to have that. We want to build that rapport. We want to feel supported.
Hmm. Absolutely. Do you incorporate faith into your therapy?
Yes,
Does that work?
I absolutely. So I've had clients who ask me to pray before sessions or pray at the end of
Really?
sessions. Yes,
Oh,
yes.
I didn't know that.
And I do because who would I be if I didn't? You know what I
Uh-huh.
mean?
Uh-huh.
So I've
So
prayed
is it
with
just a
clients.
preference, like if they request, because I remember when I was looking for my first therapist long time ago, and the reason why I didn't stick with him is because he told me that he was not a believer, and I was like,
Mhm.
I don't think this is gonna work
Right,
because I can
right.
tell you about my problems and you can help me clinically, but because faith and religion are such a huge part of my life, I can't
Mhm.
imagine having these conversations without talking about God. You know what I mean? So,
Yes,
mhm.
definitely. So we've incorporated prayer. I've had clients ask me for Bible verses, and I'll be like, okay, hold on, let me do a little research,
Hold on, let me text my best friend.
let me do a little research, right?
Uh-huh.
So I'll give them some Bible verses. I think that it's important for them to feel comfortable with incorporating their faith. And I also let them know that I'm a believer. And so I'm not going to just be telling you things clinically that I believe some of the same things that you believe in.
Mhm.
So then they can feel like, okay, there's some camaraderie, some I guess support, some
Mhm.
feeling like, all right, they
You
understand what
get
I'm
it.
going
Right, right. I love it. I love it.
through.
Well, listen, y'all. This has been so great. We did not want to let Mental Health Awareness Month get out of here without having this important conversation. There's still, while we've made a lot of progress, we still have a ways to go. I think also, Letitia, there's like a shortage kind of with like therapists, and a lot of people I hear have a hard time finding one.
Mhm.
Getting on a list, a wait list. Can you talk a little bit about the resources on how people can find a therapist? Of course, if they're in Houston, not Houston, if they're in Texas, the whole state you can serve, right? They
That's
can
right.
see you virtually or in person if they're in your area. But elsewhere, how can people find a therapist?
So I know that I advertise on two different platforms in particular. One is Psychology Today, and on that platform, you can put in your filters if you prefer a particular preference. You put that in, you put your zip code in, you find a therapist or a psychiatrist if that's what you're looking for. I also advertise on another website called Therapy for Black Girls, and I feel like they're a good resource because not only do they provide that list, but they provide podcasts and other helpful information for you to feel like, okay, I don't have to go through this alone. There are other websites called Therapy Tribe, and there's a greater mental health awareness website for the Houston area. So I think you just And also, a lot of times, your insurance provider will have a list of people in networks. So just start there.
Yeah, I was going to say that too. And what's the thing called? The employee
Employee assistance program.
that one. Yeah, your
Oh,
EAP.
yes,
Hmm.
yes. So a lot of times people don't even use that resource. Their company will provide EAP services, and that consists of like 3 to 5 sessions, 3 to 8 sessions, sometimes 10, sometimes more, with a licensed mental health therapist. And they'll provide you a list of people who are in network with that particular EAP company. And so why not use that? You get
Those are
the
usually
same.
free or like a low
Yes, it's
cost.
free. It's
Mhm.
free. Usually those sessions are free. So even if you only get three, at least that gives you a
Start.
start to kind of get your journey going.
Hmm. Absolutely.
Mhm.
Thank you so much, Leticia Bhola, for being
Well,
with us today. Tell everybody how they can follow you and all of that.
all right. So my website is www.lmbwellness.org. And I also, if you want to go there and maybe subscribe to the newsletter that we send out a little infrequently, but that's okay because it's always good information when I do send it out. You can also find us at on Instagram at LMB Wellness Services or on Facebook at LMB Wellness Services.
Hmm.
LMB Wellness Services. So all the S's in between wellness and services.
That's for the Instagram and the Facebook.
And the Facebook, yes, yes.
Okay. Love
Yep.
it. And then also, if you would like to purchase God Plus Therapy Equals Healing or Mental Health for the Melanated Culture, both of those, again, are 20% off through the end of this month. So you have a little bit of time, and you can go to thesistershop.com and you can just search LMB. You can search mental health. It'll come up. You can
Mhm.
search God Plus Therapy, and you will find her page. If you go to search by brand, you can click on LMB Wellness. But that is, and I think it's on the homepage too. I think I added it to the
Mhm.
homepage too as
Mhm.
well.
Okay.
So because it's Mental Health Awareness Month. So make sure you check that out. 20% off through the end of this month. Let's continue to spread this message. Let's continue to amplify the importance of our mental health. If we are not well mentally, we cannot be well really in any other way or for anybody else. We have to take care of our mental health. And I'm so glad that we had a chance to chat today. So thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me. And if you also want to go to the Sister Shop website, you can not just support me, but other Black owned businesses and brands who have wonderful items that I've purchased and use. So I just wanted to let them know that also.
Yes, we are a one-stop shop. Thank you, thank
That's
you,
right.
thank you. All
You're
right, TT.
welcome.
Oh, I'm sorry, Leticia. Have a great day.
All right, Pud. You too.
Oh, I can't stand you. Bye, girl.
Bye.
All right, y'all. So thank you for tuning in. Again, that was she really is my best friend, y'all, like for a very long time. But she's not on here today because she's my friend. As preachers say and pastors say, we ain't gonna have anybody come just because they are a friend. We invite them to come because they're gifted, because they're skilled, because they're talented. And she really has built this incredible business and brand about supporting mental health and helping people through their journeys. And I'm grateful. I'm so thankful and just proud of her for what she's been able to accomplish over these years. So I just have a few other updates for y'all, and then I'm gonna be out. Y'all probably hear the toddlers and the kids in the back. So listen, on May 31st, y'all, May 31st, which is not this weekend, next Saturday, at 10 a.m. Eastern, we are hosting our Sis Start Your Biz Masterclass. Now, this class is long overdue, but y'all, it is going to be all the things because for years we have been hearing from folks, I want to start a business. I don't know how to start. I have this great idea. I've been doing it on the side. It's a side hustle. It's just a hobby, whatever the case might be. You've allowed procrastination, fear, doubt, all the things to keep you from starting that thing. Listen, LMB Wellness wouldn't be around if she hadn't just started. Sister Shop wouldn't be around if we hadn't just started. The key is to starting, but you want to start not just any old way. You want to start the right way. You want to start on a firm foundation. So on Saturday, May 31st, 10 a.m. Eastern. We're going to be live on Zoom and we are going to get to it. Okay. So if you have been wanting to start a business, but you have allowed fear, doubt, or life to keep you from doing it, you said you were going to start it in 2025. You said you were going to start it in 2024. Listen, we are not going to let the second half of this year catch us without at least taking the first step to starting our business. So I want you to meet me in the session. You can register online at thesistershop.com/events. I'll put it up there for you. And no, it's not free. It's not free. And let me tell you why it's not free. Because we don't take free things seriously. Okay, we do not take free things seriously. It's not going to cost you an arm and a leg. It's not $1 million. It's less than what you might spend on Starbucks in a week. But we have to be willing to invest in ourselves. And in the things that we say we want to do. So I want to see you in class. If you are not available, like if you got your kid got baseball or you can't be on for the whole session, you can register for the VIP and then you'll be able to get the replay as well as the workbook and all of that. But share this with someone. Maybe it's not you. Maybe you know someone. You have a sister, a cousin, an auntie, a bestie who has a great skill or talent and they haven't started that business yet. Maybe they make great cakes or maybe they do crafting or, make body butters or candles and they just been doing it and, giving it away or just charging a couple of dollars. And it's time for them to take it seriously. Send this to them. Okay. Share this with them because we want to see you in the building on May 31st. Okay. So I'm really excited about that. And it's going to be a time because y'all already know how we do. All right. So make sure you register. Start Your Business Masterclass. We're going to be going over the important steps you need to take to start your business the right way. We're going to talk about how you can use AI to expedite that process, but still be on a firm foundation. We're going to talk about some misconceptions about things you need and don't need to get started. So we're going to lay it all out for you so that by the time you finish that course on Saturday morning, you will have everything you need to start your business. So I'm super excited about that. All right. And then what else? What else is coming up? Okay. So June is around the corner, y'all. June is around the corner. And June has some great holidays and themes. And so we've got merch for all of them, and they're all on sale right now. So we have Father's Day, which is June 15th. So our Gifts for Dad collection is 20% off. All right. June also is Pride Month. And so we've got our Pride collection, which is 20% off. And then June is the month of Juneteenth. Okay. And we have an entire Juneteenth collection. All of these collections are 20% off for the month of June. The Father's Day collection, though, is only 20% off through Father's Day. And we don't want to give dads the short end of the stick, okay? We want to show them love. We want to celebrate them. Today I'm wearing one of our new designs, which is Dopest Mom Ever. But it's the partner for Dopest Dad Ever, which is one of our top sellers. So that is in the collection. And then we have so many other great gift items for dad. Let's go ahead and place those orders early so you can get them in time, so you can get them while they're on sale, so we can celebrate dad, the wonderful dads in our lives, husband, granddad. We have aprons, we have shirts, we have, tees, hoodies. We have some accessories for the men in our lives, for the great dads. So make sure you check that out. Also, y'all already know this climate that we're in, okay? We need to pop out and show them for Juneteenth, all right? And I want you to do that in one of our custom Juneteenth designs. These are no cookie cutter designs that you're going to get from China. These are custom designs by a Black woman, okay? And so you can get those designs on our website as well to celebrate Juneteenth this year. Wherever you're going to be that weekend or that day, let's show up, let's show out for our people. They can roll back DEI all they want, but they cannot take our freedom. And we have to celebrate all that we've been able to accomplish as a people. And so those designs are also 20% off. And then it's Pride Month, y'all. And we are celebrating the wonderful pride that exists in our community. And so we want to celebrate with the merch that we have for that as well. 20% off. So let's show up and show out for these causes and these holidays that are coming up in June. Go ahead and place your orders now. Register for the Start Your Business class. And then there's another huge announcement that's going to be coming up on Monday. But I'm going to just tell you that the Sister Shop Tour is coming. Okay. So y'all have a fabulous rest of the day. If you're on our mailing list, look out for some important emails coming out very soon. And just remember, y'all, remember that there is nothing, absolutely nothing, that can happen to you that you and God cannot handle. So put it in his capable hands and watch him work it out. And I will see y'all later. Bye.